Kate Joseph, this does look like her colour. You look like you're on fire. I'm going to follow you in there and see what happens.
Yeah. I think what I'm dealing with is a bit specialist, and these people are told what they need to know on a what they need to know basis, and I'm asking questions really outside the box, I think.
In 2010, he was appointed to the Office for Budget Responsibility, also known as the OBR, as its first Chief of Staff. Chief of Staff? That sounds a bit Americanised.
People have to speak louder than they probably need to because there's screens blocking them. So these conversations you'll think you're having privately with somebody else could be hearing you in another.
It's only that between them anyway, but that's the council's decision.
I do believe Tim's perseverance with his constant bombardment of FOI requests to the council appeared to now have forced Kate to put her house in order in line with the Localism Act 2011. We now know she's a member of the Board of Trustees for the Resolution Foundation, a think tank. Think tanks can be very interfering at times.
The main reason I'm actually putting this information out with Mark's help, because Mark's been very helpful in all of this, is I want other people to come forward. Can anybody else come forward with information on Kate Joseph?
From England to both the WhiteHouse and the International Monetary Fund, the current Chief Executive of Sheffield City Council not only told at least one lie that we know about, but could quite easily have told many more. This lady, who is known to act in denial, also addresses herself with the title Ms, not Mrs. This lady worked in the White House. This lady's husband is called Tom. Tom worked at the International Monetary Fund around the same time. Shrouded in secrecy, both Tom and Kate Josephs appear to be handling your public funds.
My name's Tim Wells. I have a YouTube channel and you'll find the link below. So what I'd like to do is share some information on Kate Joseph. And the main reason I want to do that is because of Kate Joseph's involvement with the COVID-19 Taskmaster General position in London. Kate was ahead of all the lockdown. She was a person that actually stopped you seeing your relatives if a relative was dying. But when Kate left that position, she actually had a party or went to a party that was held on her behalf. So she went against all the legislation that she put out at that time while she was actually head of Taskmaster General. And my concern now is she's actually in charge of the city of my birth, Sheffield, and I don't want her there.
Tim has made multiple Freedom of Information requests with Sheffield City Council, and the council have not always been helpful. Kate is entitled to a private life outside public office, but when she is supposed to declare her interest and share information surrounding her roles within public office, Kate appears to withhold selected information that is deemed in the public interest, which seems odd.
Well, I've got some information about Kate Joseph, but I don't feel that it's transparent enough for executives.
In this LGC article, the Local Government Chronicle, dated April 2021, Kate Joseph was interviewed from the White House to Steel City. She went on to say after holding key roles in Washington DC and Whitehall, Kate Joseph's new priority is to shout louder about Sheffield. I still think she was a chosen one. And it was interesting to note that Sarah Colkin, the editor, stated, "Ministers' phony localism must not give the concept a bad name." Well, in line with the Localism Act 2011, did Kate Joseph have her paperwork in order when it come to filling out her registration of interests? Looking back at the time when all the Freedom of Information requests went in, this was the information that was available. So I would have to agree with Tim. Kate appears to withhold selected information that is deemed in the public interest. One example is when she uses the title Ms when she is married. It does seem odd to title yourself Ms when you claim to have a husband. Generally, it's Mrs and not Ms. The daughter of social workers from Doncaster, Ms Joseph joined Sheffield from the Cabinet Office, where she held the position of Director General of the COVID-19 Task Force. As well as several other senior UK civil service roles, Ms Joseph's career also taken in the US system, including as Executive Director of the White House Performance Improvement Council. She tells LGC her move to Sheffield from Whitehall is often described as strange. She also claimed previously it was strange to move from England into the White House.
They have to publicly declare everything they do, or everything for their declaration of interests, whereas the executives, it's showing a lot less information. Now, the executives say Kate Joseph's on 250 grand a year, and she's got a lot of influence, whereas a councillor, the leader of the council, is only probably on 35 to 50 grand a year if he's lucky. And he has to declare a lot more, and it's all public. So my thing is that all executives on 100 grand plus a year should be at least declaring exactly what all the councils are doing.
You look like you're dressed to kill, should we say?
Yeah.
Kate Joseph's, this does look like her colour. You look like you're on fire. I'm going to follow you in there and see what happens.
Yeah. Can you help me?
Just wait in the queue. I'll just.
Oh, I don't know what queue is, sorry.
Just there with that purple button.
Yeah. And I think, like with the chief executive of the council, she should be declaring a postcode where she lives. Because she's not living in Sheffield, so she should declare that. You know what I mean?
Let me just have a word.
Yeah, it's a bit complex. I think what I'm dealing with is a bit specialist, and these people are told what they need to know on a what they need to know basis, and I'm asking questions really outside the box, I think. When I ask...
You're doing him because he likes to do that, but where your camera's going...
Don't have a look. Don't have a look.
I don't
yeah,
want
you
to
can have a look. It's quite private to his own personal
Well, could you
reason.
take it to one side, because away from this bit? Where
You can do it, you know, like near the windows and things.
Well, can I just say, the gentleman's just dealing with him. Oh, there he is. Is he back now?
But we're not going to allow you to film because there's customers that are discussing private confidential information.
Could I just request?
So
Can I just request
you
a private room?
You can.
A private room.
No, you can film over there.
Right,
You don't
okay.
need a private room.
Could you just
can film
advise him
over
what you was
there,
going to advise him?
But not here, because these under GDPR, you will be picking up.
That's
what
your
other people are
responsibility.
saying. I'm the first point manager.
Yeah, that's your responsibility to
You
sort
will
that
be
out.
picking up conversations that other people are having. If you want to go to the window, if you want to go over there, that's fine. I'm not stopping you. I'm saying not here.
Right, so
Okay?
if that gentleman just advises him what he's went to go away for, he's obviously gone away to fetch some information. So if he just tells
Yes,
him the
he's going
information.
to advise him to email chief
Right.
executive.
Are you going to advise him that?
No, there's
All right, we'll just get that on
I
camera and then we'll
understand.
disappear.
Yeah,
So-
I just don't want you picking up
No,
their
no, no.
conversations.
I
all
can
right?
isolate that, that's
Because
fine.
they give the name and address and things.
All right, that's fine. I'll
All right.
isolate that.
But
So we'll just finish off
anywhere
here.
else where no one's talking.
So,
So you can email the chief executive, or
Yeah.
you can email our customer services, and we can pass it on to the...
So yeah, that was my next line. What I was gonna do is I was gonna advise chief executive and also the leader of the council, and put them in. Just say to them, one side's only providing this information, whereas the other one's been totally open and above board. So that was my next line of thought, if you know what I mean.
Okay. I'll give you our customer services email.
Yeah.
and we can
Oh, it's okay. I've got chief executive. So I didn't know if there was another way before I went to that level. All right, fine. Okay then. Thank you.
It's just picking up people's conversations because they could be they're going to give the name and address, they're going to give the private details. So if it's there, it's okay because it's a public building. As long as I just want to say as well, love, as long as you don't upload it.
Yeah, I mean, this gentleman just wants to ask for a price.
I was just going to ask you a question. That equally applies to people who's come in and don't want other people to hear their information. It's very impersonal, a lot of this with these COVID screens here. And people have to speak louder than they probably need to because this screen's blocking them. So these conversations you'll think you're having privately with somebody else could be hearing you in another...
There's only that between them anyway, but that's the council's decision.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, when it's being recorded, that's different.
Yeah.
And you can't upload the video as well, because then that's when you become subject access data controller. If you keep it for your own personal
You're talking about
use.
GDPR, aren't you?
Yeah, if you keep it for your own
So under
personal
GDPR
use,
rules,
you
you're
can.
supposed to keep
But
everybody's data.
You can't.
Are you not supposed to keep everybody's...
Can't upload our advisor because they're
Okay.
on official business. So you can't upload it to the internet. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. But you're supposed to keep people's data secure, aren't you?
We
So
do.
you have a facility here which is open, so everybody can hear everybody's conversations. So do you not need to do something about that?
That's the council decision to have open interviewing, to have those screens.
Yeah, but it's your duty as well to keep people's data
If someone
secure.
wants to go into a private cubicle to discuss, then they can, and obviously we will do that. But that's the setup, and I can't change that. Obviously, if you wanted to put a request in to say why is it like that, then obviously you can.
Can I bring it to your attention then, to mention it to you higher up the echelon, that you know, the people here need private spaces?
Yeah, they are aware. As you can see, all the desks are the same and the property shop. So I understand. I know exactly. And this is why we have this further back, so that customers can't hear that's waiting.
But I think it's all...
But there's nothing we can do.
There's no privacy here.
No,
it's a public space.
I understand that, but we've not got the facility to take every customer into that and to interview them in a private cubicle. Otherwise, we would. But this has been, since Howden House opened, this has always been the same. And I do understand, and I do get people's point of view, but there's nothing we can do about it.
How quickly can you facilitate a private room for somebody coming in?
Depending on what's available, because obviously customers are being interviewed in private rooms, and obviously we'll wait if there isn't one available, but we will try and get one as soon as we can.
I feel uncomfortable, Mark.
Why do you feel uncomfortable?
Well, prior conversations with the people, which I think you best not put on at the start with the actual people as I walk through the door saying one thing, and then as soon as you start to try and defeat that, the gatekeepers then start screaming.
Who do you think the gatekeepers are here?
I think they all are. I think they're all gatekeepers.
So, with regards to filming in public places...
Go away, sir.
Sorry? Okay. Oh, looks like you're going away. Have a nice day. Take care.
What do we know about Kate Josephs? Kate used to work in government. She went to America with her husband Tom. Her job in the White House does not appear to be coincidental. It has all the hallmarks of pre-planned action. In October 2015, this little-known article was published advertising the White House had created a new leadership group to help execute final agency goals. Final agency goals, you might wonder. Well, it appears Kate Josephs was a party to that as well. More about her party during lockdown in a moment. But the use of the word final means there was a pre-planned long-term goal for which this agency was then deemed part of the final stages. It was all eyes toward the exits as the Obama administration back then was setting its last 92 priorities. What goes on behind these closed doors in the likes of the President of America's White House will always be a mystery, like it was for the assassination of former President John F. Kennedy in 1963. In September 2015, there was another little-known article that went under the radar from the American Center for Public Impact. This is another foundation group with what appears to have had unconfirmed links to the White House. Kate said it is very unusual to be a non-American working for the federal government. Normally positions are reserved for Americans born and bred, no exceptions. So how did she manage it? Well, Kate said, "How I got here is one of those accidents in life," and then went on to say that her husband got the opportunity to work at the International Monetary Fund, commonly known as the IMF, which coincidentally is based in Washington, D.C. Before landing her new high-flying role in America, she was a senior civil servant at the UK's HM Treasury at the time. She claimed neither herself or her husband were people with international career paths. Having this opportunity, she said, was a total surprise to them both, which they wanted to make the most of, highlighting that being the spouse of someone who works at the IMF meant she automatically received a visa and a work permit. Her green card and visa may have enabled Joseph to work at McDonald's, for example, but the federal government would prove harder to crack. So what did I just read? But the federal government would be harder to crack. These words would reasonably appear to mean nothing more than the point made here. Kate appears to be the chosen one for this job before she landed in America. The chosen one would already have deep government experience and knowledge. And this is what Kate Joseph had already been trained to do from her previous role as Deputy Director of the UK Prime Minister's Delivery Unit, PMDU, and deemed enough for her to secure a senior role at the American Performance Improvement Council, PIC. The PIC team is at the heart of government, which focuses on the advancing and expanding the practice for performance management and improvement in federal agencies, which she started in January 2014. Originally, the Americans employed Kate to oversee implementation of the FYXY-XZ, also known as FY14-17, cross-agency priority goals, and then 12 months later, she was promoted to become the new executive director, for which her predecessor went on to a role within the DC mayoral administration. A key part of the PIC team's work, alongside the American Office of Management and Budget, was to develop and grow a community of practice for the people who work in performance across the federal government. Kate stated these words smilingly, "It's fantastic. Even on the most testing of days, I still pinch myself at the uniqueness of this opportunity." It really does appear that Kate was the chosen one for the pre-planned job in America, and while her husband Tom Josephs was just entering his own new high-flying job at the IMF. Coincidence or not, Kate Josephs is now the chief executive of Sheffield City Council.
I feel a little bit like Neville Chamberlain, Mark, because there's so much information. And as like you said, peace in our times, he said before the war, thinking that he'd stop the Germans actually occupying other countries in Europe. So I'm at the same point with my piece of paper wondering, can I actually stop what's going off? So I've written information down because it's so complex what's going off. And it's really about Kate Josephs and a declaration of interest. Now, I believe that everybody's got a right to privacy. But if you're in a very high public position and your partner's in a very high public position, I think that becomes a point of public interest. So I've done some digging, and you've also done some digging from your side to find out more about Kate Josephs.
Kate's LinkedIn profile highlights her history regarding her career over the years. I found that not only her job roles were very interesting, but her education before employment with government is probably why she ended up in the job she had previously. Many people with open minds will already have concluded that according to her education, she will also have excelled in obedience.
Are they supposed to be squeaky clean, these politicians and CEOs, like for instance Kate Josephs, who wasn't squeaky clean about her party?
Yeah, well, the party, it was when she'd been Taskmaster General up to December 2020. And then later they found out that she'd actually gone to a party. Now, I don't believe that any of the COVID-19 stuff was laws, but that's what the government made them out to be.
Did they make them out to be guidelines in the end?
Well, Matt Hancock said he broke no laws. He said that he broke no laws, so there were guidelines. But the point is that Kate Josephs was part of a body, head of a body, a Director General of a body that was actually making it out that these were laws.
So what about Tom Josephs, husband of Ms. Kate Josephs? Not Mrs. Kate Josephs, I see. Tom Josephs, a member of the Budget Responsibility Committee. He joined the Budget Responsibility Committee in September 2023. After starting his career in a private sector consultancy, Tom worked in HM Treasury from 2000 to 2010 in a range of roles covering macroeconomics, budget policy coordination, and fiscal analysis and forecasting. In 2010, he was appointed to the Office for Budget Responsibility, also known as the OBR, as its first Chief of Staff. Chief of Staff? That sounds a bit Americanized. Anyway, this led to the establishment and development of the organisation in its early years. In 2013, Tom joined the International Monetary Fund as a senior economist in the Fiscal Affairs Department. He provided advice on fiscal policy, analysis and institutions in a range of countries in Africa, the Middle East and Europe. He returned to the UK Civil Service in 2016, first as Director of Trade Policy at the Department for International Trade, then from 2019 as Director of Fiscal Group, leading HM Treasury's work on fiscal policy and government financing through COVID. Interesting. Then from 2022 at the Department for Work and Pensions as Director for Private Pensions. He holds undergraduate and master's degrees from the University of Manchester. Tim and myself often wonder if they discuss each other's job roles over dinner when they get home from work. We concluded if they did, then it may be deemed a GDPR breach and quite possibly easily access to insider information for two separate high flyers. Interesting. Before we move away from Tom Josephs, Let's have a quick look at a news report in The Guardian dated back in September 2010. The headline reads, Osborne accused of undermining independence of Treasury watchdog. Then went on to say, fears raised after it emerges that a Treasury official will run day-to-day operations at a supposedly independent body. Robert Chold said the OBR needed a team leader in place before the comprehensive spending review next month. He approved the appointment of Tom Josephs, currently head of public finances at the time, at the Treasury. He also said, to appoint someone without detailed experience of the Treasury's analytical and forecasting operation into a coordinating role like this would be like appointing someone who has never flown a plane as an airline pilot. He then claimed with no doubts that they would bring a fresh approach to the job, but quite probably killing everyone in the process. For Tom, in my view, working from 2019 as director of the fiscal group leading HM Treasury's work on fiscal policy and government financing through COVID, somehow gives me the chills.
I just find it absolutely gobsmacking that somebody can walk out of British government straight into American, which should be a completely different variance of government. So she walks from Britain into America and then flips back. She then becomes COVID-19 Director General of COVID-19 Task Force at 10 Downing Street. And then she moves to CEO of Sheffield City Council. She's got zero experience of running a company.
So let's take a look at the South Yorkshire Mayoral Combined Authority, SYMCA for short. For example, let's have a look at the South Yorkshire Mayor's Declaration of Interests. The current Mayor is called Oliver Coppard by name. Box 1.1 doesn't appear to have anything to declare at all. Any other role in which you receive remuneration. This includes remunerated roles such as councillors. Well, none. But what about box 4.1? That looks interesting to me. Any interest for any organisation listed at 1.1. He may have in land or property which is likely to be affected by a decision made by the SYMCA. Interestingly, no. Let's have a look further down the declaration under the title Membership List of Organisations. Member, Jewish Labour Movement. Member, GMB. Member of the Community. Member of the Labour Party. Member of Hope Not Hate. Member Co-op Party. Out of that list, one that sticks out as a matter of concern for me is Hope Not Hate. Hope Not Hate has been widely known to be a bit of a controversial organisation, if ever I heard of one. Well, that's the Mayor. Let's have a look at Kate Joseph's Declaration of Interests. Whoops. Looks like all the Freedom of Information requests may have prompted Kate to get her house in order. Unavailable. Who'd have believed it? This raises a simple question. If her profile is showing on the SYMCA list of committee members, then why is her Declaration of Interests not available? Like the Mayor's, for example. Maybe it wasn't correct at the time when we did our research, which was just a few months back in 2023. We revisited her profile numerous times and still no updates. Then one day, it had been filled in with information and made available. I do believe Tim's perseverance with his constant bombardment of FOI requests to the council appeared to now have forced Kate to put her house in order in line with the Localism Act 2011. We now know she is a member of the Board of Trustees for the Resolution Foundation, a think tank. Think tanks can be very interfering at times. But there you go, and make of that what you will.
I've gone back to the council and asked when Kate declared her interests, and they don't give me a specific date. They just said that she had to do it in July of 2022. However, they admit that the last declaration of interest with South Yorkshire Mayoral was 2021.
Several Sheffield City Council staff sacked or resigned over fraud report. A number of Sheffield City Council staff have lost their jobs or resigned following the discovery of fraudulent activity, according to a report. Some of the incidents involved the theft of cash or the falsification of timesheets. The Council's Audit and Standards Committee will discuss the report at a meeting on 27th of July. A total of 31 fraud investigations were carried out by the local authority in 2022-23, with some of the cases involving council staff. The types of frauds identified within the council mirror those found nationally. So it looks like if you've got a city council or a town council, it more than likely has its own fraud issues. What good ever came out of any council who claim to have the public's best interest at heart? Do you trust your council? South Yorkshire Police were notified and involved were appropriate. But what's this I read? Following investigation, appropriate sanctions were applied where the issues were found to be proven. This resulted in several dismissals and resignations. And this is interesting. A report said council staff have mandatory online training to keep them up to date on fraud. However, by the beginning of July, only 1,684, or 19.3% of all staff, had undertaken the training. Now, as much as the BBC has approached Sheffield City Council for comment, so has Tim, but it always falls on deaf ears. Who do Sheffield City Council think they are? And more appropriately, who do their security think they are? Why are you denying people's access to the town hall? Yeah, it's all right. Excuse me, why are you denying people's access to the town hall? Who closed it? Are you a member of the public?
I am. Well, sort of.
Oh, apparently it's close to members of the public.
Sorry?
Apparently it's close to the members of the public.
Well, I was in there.
Just watch this gentleman stop me. In fact, if you go back in, see if he stops you. Because you're a member of the public.
I've been in and out.
I bet you can't go back in, he won't let you.
I need to go.
Well, fair enough. Can I just ask you, why are you stopping members of the public coming in? Who's authorised that? Was it Tom? Is there anybody who can speak to me? Is there anybody who can speak to me? Just to tell me why. Can you just tell me why it's actually shut to the public? It's supposed to be. Sorry? Sorry, I can't hear you. I can't hear him. What's he saying? So can you not speak on behalf of the town hall? Who's actually authorised the shutting of the actual town hall today? Can I just ask your name for reference? So it looks like they've shut down the town hall. Someone in the town hall is denying people public access. And nobody wants to communicate why. And this gentleman here is mute. Can I just ask you, why can you not communicate with me? Are you a member of the public?
Yeah.
Could you just do me a favour, just see if you can go back in? I don't think this gentleman's going to let you back in.
They're going to let me back in? And you want to go back and join the live stream?
Is there a live stream on?
There's a live stream on over
I'll go and join the live stream.
So it's full now, it's just people that have been...
One gentleman's just come out.
It isn't full, there's like... It would be the same. Thank you.
This man is denying people access. This gentleman's come out, so how can it be full? Can I take his place? You're in serious trouble now. That's just wrong, isn't it? So the town hall have actively shut down anybody going in to see the live streaming section. It said it's full, and you've just seen one man come out, but one man can't go in to take his place. Can I speak to your manager, please? Can I speak to your manager, please? Would it be reasonable to speak to your manager right now? Are you the manager? Are you the manager? Why are you ignoring me? I just want to go to the live stream, see what's going on. Well, people of Sheffield, this is the face of the town hall. Well, that incident has created a formal investigation for which the Sheffield City Council are still dragging their feet on. Scandalous. Can I just ask you, obviously, they're not letting me in. This gentleman's come out, so why can't I go back in his place? He won't let...
My place.
You,
My place.
yeah, just stop. Watch this, witness this.
I'm going in the place of this gentleman.
Hello. Oh,
Whoa.
sorry, mate.
But there's no sorry about. See what I mean?
Let him in. Let him in. Let him in. Let him, do we live in a democracy or not? Are you the police? Mind police, thought police. The locker of information on what's going on.
There's something not right in this town hall.
Come on in.
He's not going to let me in.
Come on in.
He's just purposely
Who
bumped
is
into
he?
me. Who is he?
Who is he? Who's paying his wages?
The people.
We are. You're dismissed. Go away.
Why won't you let
Come
me in?
through.
You've let this gentleman. You're discriminating against me. You are discriminating against me.
Paying your wages. Paying your wages and your wages. Paying our wages.
The British people. Sheffield people.
Come on in.
Are you going to let me in? Why are you denying me access?
Mind these thought, please. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I approached in a pretty reasonable manner.
Listen, we've had to...
Shut up.
Don't you talk to me like that, daft twat.
Who are you?
Me, I'm Austin.
Wait, stop swearing.
Don't talk to me like
Stop
that.
swearing.
mate. Talk you to an old age pensioner. Get out.
I'm a pensioner.
I am as well. Get out. You get out. I work here part-time. Yeah.
This is not good.
Yeah, it's
And you're the face of this. I want to thank Tim for inspiring me to put this video together. There are thousands of people in Sheffield who don't know what's really going on in the council, who haven't really been treated by the security light you've seen in this video. There's no justification for it. And for the record, any public space in any council is legally and lawfully allowed to be video recorded. It belongs to the people, not the council. So on reflection, how would you feel if your council public servants treated you in an unprofessional way? I know how I feel. Disgusted. I firmly believe, along with many other people, that the professionalism of Sheffield City Council, from top to bottom, leaves a lot to be desired for. And how deep is that corruption? If any? Well, how deep is the ocean?